We need more UI animations. You got it, man. In today's video, we're gonna be recreating intro from one of my previous tutorials. In this video, we're gonna be creating a UI interface for Spotify, and at the same time, it kind of looks like an ad. Probably the best part was just spicing up this animation, so just wait for it. You're gonna learn so much today because that intro was made with so many different things. We got UI animations, smooth camera movements, and seamless transitions. This is gonna be an absolute masterclass on how to create an engaging intro. Also in today's video, we're gonna be using assets from the newest upgrade from Motion Essence. Yes, from Motion Essence that just went from 25 to 130 assets. Every single person that has Motion Essence got a free upgrade on their email, but you can still get it at the old price. Just enter the code old price at the checkout and you will get 50% off. Trust me, at the end of this video you're gonna notice how much time this pack actually saves. These are ready to use assets and you will find them in the description. But enough rambling, we're gonna get straight into Adobe After Effects. Alright, so we're back in the software. Let me just show you the comp settings. 1920 by 1080. I'm gonna hit OK, and I already got an intro on the timeline, actually the audio. This video we're gonna be creating a UI interface for Spotify. So in the beginning I'm saying we're gonna be creating. So for this I'm gonna hit Ctrl T and I'm gonna type in, we're gonna be creating. You can't really see anything because the text is black. But what I'm gonna do is right click, go to new, and I'm gonna pick a new solid. Let's just rename it to white BG. I'm gonna hit enter and I'm gonna put it below our text. Let's recenter the text. Actually we can add in this video. I'm gonna turn off the audio for now, and what we need for the text is an animation. We're gonna kind of apply a text animation that is in Apple style. So for this I'm gonna head over to animate, go to position over here, and I'm gonna change the value in white to 200. Then we're gonna go to add, property, opacity, and let's change it to 0. We're gonna open it up, go to advanced, make sure to change the square to ramp up and also ease low to 100%. Then we're gonna go back to offset over here. I'm gonna set it to -100, then click the stopwatch, move forward, and we're gonna change it to 100%. So that's what you should have. It's a bit too slow, so I'm gonna speed it up. And the next thing we need is go to our secret folder and grab some assets onto the timeline. So these are basically screenshots from Spotify, but what we need to do is just pre-compose them, and we're gonna call it SS as for the screenshot. So what I'm gonna do is scale it down just like so. Then what we need to do is have Eminem a little bit towards the right, then Drake is gonna go towards the left. Or you know what, actually Travis Scott has a better background photo. I mean, that color is kind of nice. Then I'm gonna grab 50 Cent and put him to the right. Let's make it even. It doesn't have to be ideal because we're simply gonna make it so fast it's gonna be barely noticeable. So essentially what we need to do is select two assets, one in the middle and one on the side, just like so, and put them lower. And then we're gonna select the other two and put them up. Then we're gonna go to the beginning with the playhead. We're gonna select everything, hit P, create a keyframe for position. We're gonna move forward, and essentially what we need to do is just drag it across the screen. Okay, now these two, so they're gonna pass each other. Okay, so that's what you should have. It's a bit too slow, so we're gonna speed it up. And then what we need to do is select every position. I'm gonna right click, go to separate dimensions, and make sure to delete X because our movement is only in Y, so we don't really need that. So I'm gonna delete these. And the reason why we did it is because we're gonna go to the graph editor, and here we're gonna make sure that we're in the value graph. And if we didn't separate dimensions, we wouldn't be able to manipulate it. So make sure you're not in the speed graph, but in the value graph, and then select only Y. Then I'm gonna select the keyframes, hit F9, and then what we need is a fast start, then it's gonna slow down in the middle, and it's gonna go fast again at the end. So for this, we need to make sure that the yellow dot over here is gonna go downwards, then the other yellow dot is gonna go upwards, and we should have something along those lines. Okay, little adjustment. We don't really want that graph to be completely flat in the middle because it's gonna stop and we don't really want that. So I'm just gonna do it on the opposite side as well. Okay, seems pretty good. Let's see. I think we're ready to go back over here, and what we need to do is basically have it below the text, and we're gonna change the opacity so the text is still visible, maybe even to 50. Then what we need is a camera, so I'm gonna right click, go to new, camera, and let's pick a preset of 35mm, hit OK. Then I'm gonna drop it below our white background. I'm gonna right click, go to new, null object, and we're gonna parent the camera to the null. Let's rename the null to cam control 1. And actually, you know what? We're gonna drag the white background below the camera. So everything above the camera needs to have 3D on. Let's just make sure to change the color of our controllers, and it should be perfect. So obviously we need some separation between the text and our background. So for this, we're gonna select SS. I'm gonna hit P and move it away. Then we can scale it up, and that way, as you can notice over here, let me just turn on the transparency grid. we're gonna notice that there's a nice separation. I'm gonna close it down, and then we're just gonna go to our cam control 1, hit P, create a keyframe for position, and we're gonna move to the beginning. And here what we want to do, let me just show you with the assets. We just want to get closer. Then I'm gonna drag that keyframe to the beginning, and I'm gonna apply one of the graphs. Intro should be fine. Let me just show you how the graph looks. So basically, if you're in the speed graph, you're gonna have a little bump on the left. Okay, seems too fast, so we're just gonna extend it. I noticed one error over here. As you can notice, we got a white line. So for this, we just need to go to that layer and we're gonna bump up the scale. Then the next thing we need is go to the rounded rectangle tool and we're gonna create a shape like that. Okay, I'm gonna recenter. I'm gonna probably change roundness a bit. And what we need to do is call it frame. And we're gonna make sure to go to the rectangle one in the contents, open up rectangle path 1, and we're gonna alt click size. And the thing we want to do is enter the expression from the comment that I left for you. Just go to the comment section, copy and paste it over here. Okay, and now with that expression, we're gonna be able to keyframe size, then uncheck constraint proportions, move somewhere here, and we're gonna change Y to 0. And let me just solo out this layer. As you can notice here, it's got that bouncy look, and it's all because of the expression. Let me just squeeze it in. Alright, everything seems really nice. I'm gonna unsolo out this layer, and what we need to do is type in UI interface. Actually, we can't select this layer. We want to create a new one, interface. And here what we're gonna do is change the color to white. Let's hit OK. I'm gonna recenter and we're gonna bump up the size. It's probably too big. We're gonna decrease the size. And also what I would like to do is change the color of the frame. So I'm gonna go to fill color and let's pick something a bit brighter. I'm gonna hit OK, and that's what we have. And here's the thing, we're gonna go to our text over here, and now we're gonna borrow our text animation from that layer. So I'm gonna open it up, go to text, copy animator 1 and paste it in our UI interface. So now we got that animation over here, but it's way too slow because the text is shorter. So we're just gonna squeeze it in and it looks really nice. The thing we could do is make sure that the text stays within the frame. So for this, I'm gonna head over to the modes and I'm gonna change the track matte to our frame. Now make sure to turn on the visibility and that way it stays within the frame. Now we actually need to adjust it a bit. So whenever the frame is opening up, also the text appears. Okay, I think I'm good with this. Then what we could do for clarity is select these two layers and pre-compose them. We can call it UI interface. Then we need to make it 3D, so for this I'm gonna turn it on and we need to make sure it's in a good separation. I'll probably just put it in front and then I'm gonna scale it down. Okay, we definitely need to delay this layer to around this position. And then whenever the frame is appearing, we need to fade out the text. So for this I'm gonna hit Alt-Shift-T, then move forward and we're gonna change the opacity to 0%. Okay, let's adjust the timing. Okay, so that's what we have so far. And the next thing we need is basically zoom in effect whenever the frame is appearing. So for this, I'm gonna go to Cam Control 1, I'm gonna hit Control D, then hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 1 to 2, and we're gonna move forward. So now I'm gonna create a zoom in effect by changing Z position, and then I'm gonna apply mid graph. So make sure to have a peak in the middle. Probably what I'm gonna do is go to the graph editor again, and we're just gonna create a sharp peak. Yeah, that's actually really nice. In this video, we're gonna be creating a UI interface for Spot. I'm gonna probably extend it, and that way we get the movement going on for a bit longer. And on top of that, this is an extra touch, you don't really need to do that. I'm gonna go to new adjustment layer, I'm gonna rename it to shake, and I'm gonna apply one of my shakes from Motion Boost, which is gonna be actually Shallow Breeze. And because of the shake, we got the transparency grid over here, so I'm just gonna bump up the scale for this. And the thing we need is just adjust the timing. Let's see. It would probably be best to have that shake whenever we got the sharp peak in our Cam Control 2. So it's around this time. So for this, I'm gonna just drag it to the back like that. Okay, perfect. Then what we need to do is duplicate Cam Control 2, hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 2 to 3, move forward, and we're gonna move upwards. So make sure to change Y, and then we're gonna select both keyframes and apply the mid graph. Okay, a bit too slow. A bit too early. Let's do it again. I don't really like the fact that it's so sharp in the middle, so we're just gonna make it more subtle. Okay, I think I'm good with this. The next thing we're gonna do is duplicate white background. I'm gonna put it on top. Let's rename it to gray BG, and I'm gonna hit Ctrl-Shift-Y. So that way we're gonna be able to change the color of this. And and we're gonna pick something like that. I'm gonna hit OK. And then what we need to do is apply opacity keyframes that go from 0 to 100%. And whenever we got that upwards movement, then they should be there. We're gonna head back to the project and we're gonna grab the Spotify logo. And what we're gonna do is decrease the scale, and I'm gonna pre-compose that layer. Let's hit OK. I'm gonna turn on the 3D and I'm gonna make sure to recenter that layer. If you can't find it, you just go to the second view and look for it here. Okay, let's adjust the timing. This is gonna be a long video. Then what we need to do is duplicate Cam Control 3, hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 3 to 4, and we're gonna move backwards. So for this, make sure to change Z position, just like so. I'm gonna apply mid-graph again. We can actually squeeze it in for a sharper movement. And here we're gonna duplicate that text over here, the first one we created. I'm gonna put it on top, change the color to white, hit OK. And then we're gonna recenter. And we just need to change this text to end at the same time. And we just need to play around with Z position. Just like so. Adjust the timing. I'm gonna hit U and I'm gonna actually squeeze in that keyframe for a faster animation. Okay, let's adjust the timing. And I'm gonna drag it a bit lower. Also maybe bump up the font size. Okay, I think I'm good with this. I'm gonna go to our Spotify, and what we're gonna do is go to the ellipse tool, and I'm gonna create a shape behind it. And basically I'm just gonna put it below, just so we don't have the transparency grid behind. And the thing I would like to do here is duplicate that shape layer. I'm gonna put it above, and what we need to do is grab the color from Spotify, and basically we'll just fill out our logo. So what I'm gonna do is apply opacity keyframe, move backwards, change it to 0, and it will just nicely fade out. Actually fade in, because we're applying a color. Then essentially what we need is go to Spotify, hit R, add a keyframe for rotation, and then we're gonna change it to 1 over here. Okay, we need to just have a good timing. Then I'm gonna hit Ctrl T and type in add. I'm gonna recenter, bump up the size, recenter again, and we're gonna hit R for this, and we're gonna parent rotation to rotation in Spotify. Pretty cool, and now we're gonna nicely fade it in. So for this, we're gonna hit T, create a keyframe, move back, and change it to 0. Let's see now, really nice. I'm gonna go to our rotation, and I'm gonna make sure to apply the mid-graph, just to make it a bit more seamless. I know it looks harsh, but it's because we don't have motion blur on yet. So I'm gonna go back, and we have it too early, so for this I'm gonna hit U, and we're just gonna select all the keyframes and drag them somewhere here. Still too early in my opinion. This should be perfect. And actually, whenever we got that rotation, we're gonna make sure that our time indicator is set over here. Then we're gonna go back by hitting the tab key. And now the playhead is in exactly the position we want it to be. So in the first keyframe inside that pre-comp. So what we're gonna do is set the keyframe for position right over here. Then we're gonna go into the layer, set the playhead on the last keyframe, then go back, and we're just gonna drag it to the right. Now we're gonna apply the exact same graph as for rotation within that layer. And look at that. The timing seems to be perfect. And I'll probably just drag it a bit more towards the left. And now what we need to do is follow our circle with the camera. So what we're gonna do is duplicate Cam Control 4, hit U, then delete the last keyframe, parent 4 to 5, move forward, and we're just gonna drag it to the left to have our ad in the middle. I'm gonna apply the same graph. Let's see now. Okay, I'm gonna hit U for this one, so we have a reference. Okay, seems pretty good to be honest. I'm just wondering if we should either have these keyframes aligned, because that way it's gonna be perfectly timed, but it seems just a bit more natural when it's extended. Yeah, I think I'm good with this. Then we're gonna duplicate Cam Control 5, hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 5 to 6. We got already quite a few nulls. And we're gonna zoom in. Now we're gonna apply the mid graph, and we're just gonna make it a bit sharper. Yeah, I'm not really controlling the audio, so let's hear that. In this video, we're gonna be creating a UI interface for Spotify, and saying, ooh, it's okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a bit too early. So for this, we're gonna select these 3 null objects. Then we also need the Spotify, then the text, and move it to the right. Spotify, and at the same time, it kind of looks like an ad. It kind of cut our Spotify over here, so simple fix would be just applying opacity keyframes. Spotify. Basically in the intro I created, I was showing the animation at that point, but we're just gonna skip that part. So as you can notice on the waveform, here we had the break. So what I'm gonna do is just trim it, and we're just gonna adjust it. Probably the best part was and we're gonna create another cam control, so I'm gonna hit Ctrl D. Let's hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 6 to 7. I don't know if we had 7 in any of the tutorials. And we're just gonna move downwards, just like so. So I'm gonna apply the mid graph again. It's a bit too late, so we're just gonna adjust the timing. And something I would like to do is go to the graph editor, and we're gonna make sure that the peak is more towards the left. And the reason for that is that I want to remain the movement for a bit longer, because if it was static at that point, it will be boring. So yeah, this is just an extra spice. And now what we need to do is duplicate our background. I'm gonna put it on top, and here we already have the opacity keyframes, so I'm just gonna put them here. I'm gonna hit Ctrl-Shift-Y, or if you don't know where it is, you just go to the layer and you click on the solid settings, and let's just change it to white again. We're gonna call it white BG2, actually here as well. And when we're moving lower, we need another text. So what we're gonna do is just take that black text in the beginning. I'm gonna hit Ctrl-D, put it on top, and we're just gonna adjust it. So here is the text. I'm gonna recenter it, probably put it somewhere here, and we're gonna change the name to probably the best part. Okay, so that's what we have. I'm gonna hit U, adjust the opacity keyframes. And the thing that I absolutely love with Apple Animations is that we can kind of adjust where it's coming from and align it with the camera. So for this, I'm just gonna close it down, open it again. And here in position, in our animator 1, we're gonna change it to -200. So we're just gonna switch it like that. And that way it's gonna come from the top. And whenever the camera is moving downwards, it's looking absolutely fantastic when the letters are coming down together with the camera. But obviously we need to adjust it so it's in the middle, and also we're gonna adjust the animation. So this is fire. All right, so that's what we have so far. Wait for the motion blur. It's gonna be a game changer. And now what we're gonna do is take advantage of ready to use animations from Motion Essence. So let me just show you. I'm gonna grab something from messages. Actually in the original intro, I used exactly this animation. So if I drop it on the timeline, just look at that. And the best part is that we can go into that animation, we can hit Ctrl-T and change the text to whatever we want. So spice it is. All right, this is absolutely dope. We're gonna turn it into 3D. I'm gonna recenter and put it below our text. Let's go to the second view, and we're gonna make sure that our animation is actually in front of that text, just for a little bit of depth. I'm gonna close the second view, and we're gonna create another cam control. Let's hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 7 to 8, move it forward, and around this time we're gonna just move back with the position. I'm gonna move downwards as well by changing Y, and I'm gonna apply mid graph. Let's adjust the timing. I'd probably want to have it a bit lower. And also whenever this animation is appearing, we're gonna go to our text here, and we're gonna adjust the opacity keyframes. And now since this animation is appearing, we're just gonna move downwards. This looks so minimalistic, especially with the white background. Absolutely love it. Best part was just spicing up this animation. And here what we're gonna do is go into that animation and we're gonna adjust the ending. So we're just gonna grab the last keyframes and drag them closer here. Pretty cool. Let's close it. We're gonna go back, and what I'm gonna do here is apply another animation, but this time we're gonna head over to icons, actually not icons, phone UI, and let me grab watch. Okay, so that's what we're gonna use. And also somewhere here, I would like to have that gray background. So we're gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna put it in between these animations. Let's hit U. We're gonna make sure that it's kind of fading in whenever the animation is appearing. Just like so. And we can actually turn on the 3D for this as well. We're gonna recenter. These animations are so sick because they are ready to use. Let me just show you one of the functionalities. So you can go to the speed over here. And just look at that. You can make it way slower, so we can set it to 10. And just look at the hands, how slow they go. If we bump it up to 100, it's gonna go way faster. That's a dope hidden feature. I'm just saying with the code old price, you got 50% off, so hurry up, because it's not gonna last forever. So now what we're gonna do is grab the text over here, put it on top. We're gonna change the color to white. Let's hit OK. We're gonna adjust the timing, and let me just put it in front of our clock. We're gonna drag it lower, just like so. And here I said, so just wait for it. Okay, this is pretty cool, but extremely slow. So we can adjust the timing a bit. And you know what, we're just gonna adjust the opacity keyframes. So I'm gonna copy them, paste them here as well, and we're gonna fade in that text. So let's go to keyframe assistant, time reverse keyframes. And that way we're gonna get that fade in effect. And we're just gonna adjust it a bit. Okay, seems really nice. That's exactly what I did in the original animation. Okay, that's way too early. And also we could duplicate cam control 8. Let's hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 8 to 9. And we're gonna move forward. I'm afraid we're not gonna get to number 10. Okay, and let's just create a little zoom out effect. Something like that should do. I'm gonna apply mid graph. What I'm gonna do is just scale down our animation. And let's see. Yeah, a bit better. Also, I'm gonna adjust that camera movement. This is pretty cool, but it's disappearing too early. So we're just gonna do it like that. Okay, I think we got it. We obviously need to make some adjustments in terms of spicing it up and also adding motion blur. So for example, here what I'm gonna do is just go into the Spotify layer and we're gonna apply Gaussian blur to our text. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna create a keyframe, hit U, move back, and we're just gonna apply that blur. Let's extend it a bit. Pretty cool, but we're just gonna uncheck repeat edge pixels because otherwise we're gonna have a straight line over here. So I want this blur to disappear whenever we're zooming into that. So I'm just gonna offset it a bit. And also what we're gonna do is apply deep glow to the text. I feel like it's gonna make it look really nice, but we need to adjust exposure. So I'm gonna change it to 0.3. I think this is good enough. Maybe let's make it a bit sharper over here. All right, we're pretty much set. The only thing we need here is the motion blur. So make sure to turn it on wherever you see the cube. So I'm gonna do it here. Let's turn it on here as well. And we might need to go into some of the layers. I'm gonna go to screenshots and we're gonna turn it on here as well. Let's go here. I'm gonna turn it on again. Here in the Spotify as well, we got the rotation movement. And here in the animations, we don't really need to do anything because it's already turned on by default. So let me just play back for you the final result. In this video, we're going to be creating a UI interface for Spotify, and at the same time, it kind of looks like an ad. Probably the best part was just spicing up this animation, so just wait for it. This animation is so sick. We covered so many different elements, and hopefully it was insightful, and at the same time, you will implement that minimalistic UI style into your edits. Don't forget to use the code OldPrice at the checkout for Motion Essence, because the deal is going to be gone pretty soon. With that being said, we're going to wrap it up here, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.